The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down. Handoff. Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried. Sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Kyle Yeomans.
377 days ago, we embarked on a journey that included a former Super Bowl champion, a professional football analyst, and a Dallas Cowboys insider, along with myself. April 14th, 2020 was that day. April 26, 2021 is the first day that all four make it in studio. It's a party on Talkin Cowboys, presented by Geico. In person, in the flesh. We are here, and we are ready to roll.
About time.
It's about time. Goodness gracious. And it sounds great. We're not going to have anybody lag out of the chat. We're not going to have any technical issues. We are just firing on all cylinders, Rob Phillips.
We did have one in-person show last season.
We did.
An RV show outside
It was.
at Tostitos Plaza.
The bird edition.
Yes, sir. Isaiah and Heckma actually met in person for the first time that day.
That happened.
That's how challenging this has been logistically. But hey, that's life.
And
We're making it work.
It's so refreshing to not only have it out there with Funtown RV, and that was so much fun, but it was like for 2 days, and we were like, oh man, we want more. And we had to go back to the WebEx, and we had to go back to the virtual. But Isaiah, we're here.
We are here.
We're here and back in person. Glad to have Heckma back. I mean, Isaiah's been in a couple times. Heckma, you're the only one that hasn't been in here since COVID started, right?
Yeah, I've been feeling like there's been something against me, right?
I can understand that.
And that's why I'm not sitting down. That's why I'm not sitting down, because I don't know when they're going to come through the door and say,
get back over here.
Come in. So,
I don't like my back to the door, by the way, so give me a hands up.
Oh man, I'm so looking forward to this, and of course we will hopefully have this for the rest of the offseason, then head into the 2021 campaign as well. So super excited about that. So glad that everyone around Talkin Cowboys that has listened to this show previously has stuck with us too, because we know it's hard to listen to sometimes, and we know that it's not necessarily the best quality, but now the quality's here, and we're ready to roll.
The happiest person about this is Chris Beam next door.
Oh, easy.
That question.
Easy.
So true.
And he can talk now on the show. So true. I'm easily second in line for that, just having to host these shows. But man, we are pumped about this. But we do have some breaking news to go to right off the top.
Awesome.
It's fitting that we're all in studio for this. But Rob, tell us what this breaking news is and what just came down in Dallas Cowboys land as of about, 3 minutes ago?
Yeah, Todd Archer of ESPN has the scoop. Sean Lee is set to retire after, 10 seasons with the Cowboys, and some questions about his future for, the third straight off season. So, Cowboys haven't officially announced it. I would expect an announcement coming up here. If not today, then sometime this week. And, end of a really good career that could have been it could have been a Hall of Fame type career if he had just been able to stay on the field a little bit more, but still a really good career.
And you talk about 10 seasons, 14 interceptions. You had the tackles, the leadership, the locker room presence. I mean, what was the biggest thing that you're going to remember about Sean Lee's career, Isaiah, when you look at what he leaves behind in Dallas?
I mean, off top is just the leadership, right? Those are the conversations that you hear. Obviously, he's a good player, but the main thing that you really hear when his name comes up is the fact that he led the team. And everybody responded to him. Everybody respected him. And he was that voice in our locker room. Even when he was unable to be on the field, which I know all too well about being unable to be on the field, you still heard how important it was for him to have a presence, even being on the sideline. And that's just not something that you hear about from every guy.
Yeah, same for me. Leadership, leading by example, doing it the way it's supposed to be done, professional on the field and off the field. I just love guys like that. They're all about their careers and making other people better. And even when he was hurt, you saw what he was doing on the sidelines, making guys better in game. So, I'm man, Sean Lee is going to be one that will be remembered and probably a staple for years to come. That's the word, cornerstone. All right, that's the guy that you only use that reserve cornerstone for guys like Sean Lee and what he's done.
You know, he said after this or late in the season, it's something to the effect of, I still feel like I have a lot left to give.
Yep.
So, maybe he changed his mind. Cowboys have a new defensive staff coming in, basically, or an altered staff with Dan Quinn. They bring in Neal from Atlanta, who's more of a Dan Quinn guy. Maybe that factored into it to a certain degree. They still need linebacker depth, though, the week of the draft. I mean, that's still, without question, that's one of them. Yeah, as we've talked about quite a bit on this show and debated quite a bit on this show. So, we'll see what happens. One stat, though, Kyle, I wanted to point out. I just looked it up. He's 8th all-time in Cowboys tackles, all-time. Darren Woodson's number 1. Darren's got about 380 tackles on him all time. Wow. Sean, I looked it up, mostly by injury. He missed 57 games in his career.
Goodness gracious.
Including an entire season in 2014.
And he played 118 out of those 57 games. Yeah. I mean, he could have added 57 on top of 118.
Probably would have been the all-time leading tackler.
Wow.
And probably, Ring of Honor, Hall of Fame, all that stuff. But he still, I think, got every ounce out of his career that he could. And he probably can rest easy knowing that. What
is the biggest memory or the best memory you're going to have of Sean Lee specifically? Because he had some of the biggest stops, I think, in that time period, but I don't want to necessarily remember Sean Lee as a what if, because he was a fantastic player. That's one of the reasons why we're taking a chance to talk about breaking news on draft week about him retiring, because he's that good of a player. He just never was on the field as much as you would like. But what's your biggest memory, best memory when it comes to Sean Lee?
I don't really have one specifically, to be honest with you. I just respect the fact that he was so highly regarded.
Yeah.
Not only on this team but around the league. And I think that's a testament to who he is, not only as a person but as a player as well. So I don't have one specific thing, but you can feel how important he is to this entire organization, and guys just don't have that impact.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so ticked off at myself after this because I'm trying to think of a Sean Lee moment. I can't think of one. He's just tough as nails. He's a guy that's going to bring it every time from his rookie season on. And you talk about missing 57 games. He did everything that he possibly could to get back on the field. I remember the times he got hurt in, I believe it was OTAs, that he tore his knee up. And
in 2014.
In 2014. Yeah. That was a bummer because he was right there on the cusp. You could tell. And it set him back. That injury. So I don't want that to be the thing that I remember about him because he was so solid on the field.
Yeah. 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, and you mentioned the 2013 season before the injury and they tore an ACL in 2014. He had 4 interceptions. As a linebacker. 4 picks as a linebacker. If you put that kind of productivity on this Cowboys defense right now, we would explode with excitement.
Yeah, that's a playmaker.
It would be everything you've ever wanted. So, of course, 50 is going to be missed on the field. What's next for him, Rob? Do you think he's a coach?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I don't know where. The Cowboys staff is what it is at this point.
Sure, an offer would come from this direction, right?
If not here, I could see him coaching high school. I could see him coaching Pee Wee, Pop Warner, college, you name it. To me, it's a Jason Witten type thing. He's got to be around football in some capacity, and I think he will be at some point. And Mike McCarthy said late in the season they've even kind of had those conversations, not necessarily here, but just you're ripe for this type of life if you want to do it, if you want to put in the hours, which it's a lot of hours, and he's made a lot of money. He doesn't have to do it if he doesn't want to.
Jason Witten needs a defensive coordinator at Argyle Liberty Christian. I'm sure he's probably hired one already, but that guy's not Sean Lee. So if he wanted to go coach in the area,
are you taking people's positions?
I might. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Man.
Yeah, Sean Lee retiring after 11 seasons in the NFL, 10 healthy ones with the Dallas Cowboys, and we of course wish Sean Lee the best. And it does present a bit of a need and puts a magnifying glass on that linebacker spot. Isaiah's already perked up a little bit.
Let's take a closer look.
Oh, you want to talk about linebacker now? You see how that happened? You said, "Oh my God, what just happened?"
Oh my goodness. So, after the Cowboys take a corner at 10th overall, whenever we have a chance to get back into the top, the first round,
here we go.
Let's talk about trades. How about that? Which is more likely whenever the NFL draft comes up on Thursday, a trade up or a trade down? And we've mentioned this on a couple other shows, but I want to hear your thoughts, because trading up would take draft capital, but it would put you in a better position to take maybe either one of those corners, or maybe if you think Micah Parsons is going to fly off the board beforehand, and I'm saying that specifically for Isaiah Stanback, but do you think it's more likely with a trade up or a trade down scenario? Trading down, of course, taking those extra picks.
I'm going with trade down. I think where we're at, I don't think financially we can really afford too many picks that are higher up than where we're already at.
Ooh, that's a good point. Talking about just even draft allotment and salaries that are to those higher picks.
Absolutely, right. So I think we're going to struggle even with the 10th pick if we decide to stay there, trying to fit that in there. But I think trading down, obviously, in getting that equity, right, getting that young talent. Obviously, we all recognize that we have a depth issue at a number of positions, and the best way to fill those depth issues is obviously getting some young talent that you can get down there in the second round, things of that nature. So I think you give up a top 10 pick and you go down there and you pick up a couple second round picks and maybe even third round pick, in addition to what you already have.
Yeah, you know what? I just think that this draft is so hard to gauge because of COVID, and it's going to be wreaking havoc on all the draft departments because of the whole evaluation process. But I would definitely trade back. There isn't a player that I can think of that I would trade, that he's a just can't miss guy. But obviously we're not in the quarterback market, and even for Kyle Pitts, and that's where everybody is thinking, like, what if, and if it's true that Mr. Jones is enamored with Kyle Pitts, and that does happen, it wouldn't surprise me, but that would be a thing. That would be hurt about the draft capital that we'd have to give up because we need so many different things.
What about Sewell? Would you trade up to get him, though? Because I know usually people don't trade up to get offensive linemen, but if you get a solid offensive lineman and add him to what you already have, a healthy Dallas Cowboys offensive line, you throw him in the mix, not only do you protect your man number 4, but you also accelerate the production of number 21 behind there as well.
So we're just bringing this up now. This is the first time we've ever heard anybody on this show talk about a tackle going.
No, I'm just saying, if we're talking about trading
You've been on Slater, not Sewell.
That's true. It's because Sewell seems a little out of reach. And just to go along with your point, and we did a mock draft, first round mock draft on the draft show this morning. Yeah. And out of those top 10 picks, Penei Sewell went number 5 overall. Micah Parsons went number 9, and you had Slater available at 10. Of course, David Hellman, who made the pick for the draft show, picked Patrick Surtain because he thinks that would be the selection. But Rob, if there is that. If Penei Sewell is that high on the board and there is that player up there, could you go trade with somebody like Cincinnati or like Atlanta maybe to go and try and make that pick, or would you rather do that for a generational type of talent like Kyle Pitts?
Me and Heck are on the same board here. Kyle Pitts is going to go 4 to Atlanta, and we don't have to talk about it anymore. I can't wait for that.
That's where he went in the mock draft as well.
You did it? Yeah. I think they're going to make that move. I think they're in a perfect spot of just sit and wait and see what happens. I don't think tackle, even though it is a need long term, I don't view tackle as they got to go up to get one. If they were more concerned about Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins, fine. But I think right now they can sit there and wait and see maybe the first defensive player off the board comes to them at 10. It's possible that it's all offense 1 through 9, and even if one of the top 2 corners goes at, say, 8, they could still have their pick there. If both are still there, maybe you trade back, which and still get a guy that you really like if they have kind of a cluster of guys they really like. I think trade back is probably the most logical possibility.
And you're going to have so many offers on draft day for that 10 spot because things are going to fall. Even all the mock drafts, and everyone has someone different, 1 through 10. Sure. But if one of these quarterbacks that, say, a New England wants, or someone wants to come up and get a future quarterback, we're in a prime position to give that up and get extra picks in this draft. Maybe get you another number 1 pick. Get 2 number 1s.
How angry would you be though in Cowboys Nation? How angry would you be if you traded out of the top 10?
I wouldn't be.
It depends on who's there where you trade back. How far would you trade back?
Yeah, how far are you trading back?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, it would probably most likely.
How often do you have a top 10 pick?
Not a lot.
Not often.
Not often.
Zeke and
Mo Claiborne.
Was Mo top 10?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Okay.
Traded up into it.
They traded up to 6. So,
Correct.
yeah, it's only been a couple times this last 15 years. Yeah.
The most likely trade back partners would be the Chargers at 13, Patriots at 15, Maybe the Raiders at 17 if they want to do something crazy. Washington at 19 and then Chicago at 20. You're probably not going to do Washington because you don't want to give them their franchise quarterback because that's what they would trade up for.
And Gruden's not trading out of that position.
No. Yeah, he would probably find somebody there. He ended up taking Jamin Davis, the linebacker out of Kentucky, with that pick in our mock draft earlier.
At 13?
At 17.
17, okay.
Still very high, but 17 was where he ended up making that pick. But there are players, just some of the names that went after: Jalen Waddle, Elijah Vera-Tucker, Christian Darrisaw, Devontae Smith, J.C. Horn, Jamin Davis, Kwity Paye, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and Rashad Bateman. Those were 10 through 20 in our picks. There's a lot of good players that fill needs there, but does it make you more comfortable moving back?
Only if they don't care, who they get at that point. If they've got like a list of 5 guys that they're like, it doesn't matter. We love all these guys. If we drop, I saw one mock draft where where's New England picking?
15.
Then they pick up New England's second round pick, which is like number 46, something like that.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
And then you drop 5 spots, and hey, they're still a great defensive player. We're very confident there's still going to be somebody there. That's where I would feel comfortable. Going down to like 20 or something, I don't know, because then you're missing out on.
Yeah, it's too big of a gap.
Yeah, I mean Usually you have 20 first-round grades on guys or less. So I wouldn't want to drop back too much. But, hey, extra ammo. They do have extra ammo. They have an extra third-round pick. They have, multiple fourth-round picks. So it's not like they're having to trade up and then all of a sudden they don't even have a second-round pick. They've got a lot of picks in this draft.
I think if you trade to 15, and here's the full screen of what the picks were, 10 through 20 on the board. But if we trade back to 15 and you go to where the Patriots were, at least in the mock draft that we had earlier this morning, there's a chance. This is the top 9 picks.
Oh, you got them trade up to 7.
There you go. Yeah, the Patriots did trade up to 7. But if that trade didn't happen with Detroit, and they're picking at 15, and they wanted to come up and get a quarterback at 10, guess who's there that was picked at 16 by Arizona?
J.C. Horn, exactly.
And if he may be your top corner,
right,
why not have that conversation with New England? Why not say, okay, we have both Surtain and Horn here. We like both of these guys. Let's drop back because New York, Philadelphia, very unlikely to pick a corner. Same thing with Los Angeles. Minnesota picked 2 in last year's draft with Jeff Gladney and kid out of Mississippi State. I'm forgetting his name right now. But both of those guys were picked in last year's draft. You could get a corner at 15 depending on where you ended up selecting.
Now, we had this conversation last show about guys playing, being just solid man-to-man cover corners and coming into a zone system and finding a system that matches what they do. J.C. Horn is a guy that in South Carolina played in a predominantly man system. Right. Not to say that we won't play man on the outside, because we will. Okay? But does he fit what we need right now? J.C. Horn, phenomenal player. I'm just saying, when we look at the defense and see all of the different things that we need, J.C. Horn, and we're going to double dip because I still believe we're going to continue to look for safety, other corners, and guys that are tweeners or hybrid guys at that position. But why not look at moving back, if you're going to do that, to say get an edge rusher? Why not get an edge? Why not move back into if
you would have the top edge on your board there?
That's what I'm saying. And then say at 44 or 45, wherever New England is, if you pull off a trade like that, and then go back and again get a one tech. This is what we need to fill out this defense to make it better, because you're looking at a defense that, in just say the month of October, gave up 149 points in October.
That's it.
149.
That's all.
So
wait a second.
Now I don't know how much a corner is in that the month of October would have stopped some of that. But at the same time, the building blocks to put this defense together, that's where you're gonna have to look. And I know Cowboy Nation and Twitter and everybody, they have their guys that they want. But come on, let's just think logically about this, how you build a defense and where our needs are.
Where was Parsons in your mock draft?
9. He went before the Cowboys.
Breaking Isaiah's heart.
Broncos picked him at 9. Bucky Brooks was the one that made that selection, which I thought was interesting because before the draft process, last season, before he opted out, he was a top 5 player on the board.
Come on.
Before the quarterbacks came into the play, before these quarterbacks, and by the way, 5 quarterbacks went in the top 10. Here's another look at the top 9 picks prior to the Cowboys. But there you see Micah Parsons at the bottom. He was a top 5 player. Off the field concerns, the opt out, maybe some of the discipline, all kind of started coming into play. But that's all media thought. I mean, we don't know how the scouts still feel about Micah Parsons. They still might be very, very high. And it may not be in Cowboys land, but it might be elsewhere. Maybe Denver does need a linebacker, and they want to go and get a guy like Micah Parsons who would play in that system and fit in that system really, really well.
Is there any chance that Trevor Lawrence doesn't go number one?
Not a chance in hell.
So
I would say 99%.
That would like throw everything off, right?
it would.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
I mean, because
It's so chaotic. It'd be fun.
because the Jets and 40, they don't care. They'll just take whatever.
Yeah, they'll take whatever falls into them.
Just take a QB.
The
whoever's rated
Jets
highest.
might set Cleveland on fire. Like, Jets fans may just start rioting in the streets. If Trevor Lawrence somehow was the pick at 2 and Jacksonville went with Justin Fields, that would be the funny thing about it. Is Urban Meyer goes and gets his guy who he recruited to Ohio State in Justin Fields, and Justin Fields has been the one guy that nobody has talked about in this draft process. That would be a mind-boggling moment. Let's take our first break here on our in-person edition of Talkin Cowboys, presented by Geico. When we come back, we're going to hit a Mailbag Monday. Could the Cowboys maybe draft a couple of corners in the first 2 rounds? Maybe one of those that was a top 5 corner originally in the draft. We'll hit it next here on Talkin Cowboys.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay. Let's play. Cream Soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talkin Cowboys, a off-season edition, episode number 6. And whether you're watching from home or you're cheering in the stands with Essilor lenses, you can see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts and see what Essilor can do for you. See more, do more, Essilor on Talkin Cowboys live and in person. Oh, no, there's the uncle with the barbecue.
Yeah.
This is taking a life of its own.
Yeah, I could see more and I could do more. You know why, Rob P?
Essilor.
Because of Essilor. Yeah.
All right, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm afraid for
so much
all
better
of us.
in person.
It really is.
You need smoke in here in the cape, man. That's the only thing.
raising the smoke in here. So glad y'all are with us here on Talkin Cowboys, live and in person for the first time. Rob Phillips, Isaiah Stanback, Hector Harrison. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and just wait for the Bose read. There's an immense.
I have nothing. I have nothing for that.
Oh,
man.
you should have something.
I have nothing, man.
Those are fire right there.
Rob's going to get to put them on.
That's custom.
This is fantastic.
Right
Oh, yeah.
That's custom.
Oh, we didn't even put them on. That's okay.
I don't.
It's okay.
I
No,
can't
that's
pull
fair.
it off like Isaiah.
That's fair. I
promise
couldn't
you
either.
that.
Cowboys Mailbag Monday. This is a new segment we've done throughout the offseason so far about taking a mailbag question that you can go read on DallasCowboys.com. This one specifically was this past week, and it was answered by Dave and Johnny, and they had great answers for this. But I want to hear y'all's thoughts, and this has to do with Patrick Surtain, if he is the number 10 pick in the NFL draft with the Cowboys, which, at least at this moment, seems like the likely choice. It shouldn't happen, but if Caleb Farley, the Virginia Tech corner, drops down to number 44 due to his injury concerns, but he's still rated in the top 20 by the Cowboys, do you think they would draft him as well, or would they pass on him since they've already drafted Surtain in the first round? You're shaking your head.
You grab him.
You would do it anyway.
You grab him. If you've already made that commitment at that position, you might as well go all in. You might as well go all in. If you're not going to go get my guy Parsons, and you might as well go ahead and get Surtain, right? Get him. And then if you have another opportunity to get another corner that you believe in, but simply just has some health concerns, well, you have the best training staff in the league over here. So if they'll check him out, and if they feel like he's ready to rumble, then go grab him. Then you have 3 young corners. You have 3 young corners at that point, right?
That gets me really excited.
But you still have issues with the run.
Yes, you do.
So
if you don't fix that, I'm with Isaiah there. If you don't fix that, this on the back end doesn't matter that much. Heck said that too.
Yeah, if you can't get to the quarterback and if you can't stop the run, you still have the same issues no matter how competitive you are on the outside. Because I don't want to take this away from the corners in the league. Corners are amazing in the league. However, we all know it doesn't matter how good of a corner you are. I don't care if you're Darrell Revis Island. If the quarterback has 5 seconds to throw the ball, somebody's getting open.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting open. So that's why I don't lead with corner. Now, but if you already made a commitment, then you might as well go ahead and round it out and solidify it for your future.
Oh, God.
What you think?
I love Caleb Farley. To me, pre-draft, and I guess all the writers, and before we realized that he had the back injury, he was right up there with Patrick Surtain. I mean, everyone was talking about him and Patrick Surtain in the same sentence, and now with the back injury, he's the back operations. He's an afterthought in this process, and then you talk about doubling down with him and Patrick Surtain. I mean, let's talk about what we have on the team already. Right? So we have Trayvon Diggs. We've already signed Lewis. We have AB. Look, we're getting young. I guess I understand. You bring in more talent, and these guys are definitely talented guys. But if you're going to double dip at anything, it's going to be interior line. It's going to be edge rusher. It's going to be linebacker.
So are you confident in Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown? Almost said Antonio Brown.
And Trayvon Diggs.
I mean, Diggs, I feel like we're all pretty confident in, right? But is it those other two? Do they give you any kind of hesitation whatsoever?
No, and I think you're not giving credence to what Dan Quinn is going to do with those guys in this system.
I hope that's the case.
No, you had the same hope. You had this. That's what I was just about to say. You had the same hope with Mike Nolan. So you have to put it on the defensive coordinators and staff to make these guys that you've signed to these contracts better. You realize, just what you just said, Isaiah. Let's double dip. If you do that, we're going to go all in on it. But you know what fixes this defense, and that's one techniques and 3 techniques and linebackers.
I'm with you. I don't disagree with you on that regard. I'm just talking about when you have opportunity to get a dominant player at another position aside from corner, in terms of addressing your interior lineman or your second-level linebacker. If you choose to pass on that opportunity, then you've missed your big opportunity, right? So you might as well
at least to get an elite player at that position, because they're going to be starters in the second round. We knew that already at corner, at linebacker, at defensive tackle. It could be anywhere. You're going to get a starter in the second round.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can find competitive. It's easier to find competitive defensive linemen than I think it is to find impact corners.
See, but I think that's the thing that makes Caleb Farley an intriguing case at 44 is because he could be an impact corner. But that's the message that would be sent by the Cowboys training staff. If they selected him with that pick, that means they've seen him and they feel really good about how the back's going to heal up.
But just the things you hear is just league-wide, the biggest challenge right now pre-draft is the medical stuff. Because you're just, they did 150 medical rechecks in Indianapolis. He was one of them. Drew Rosenhaus's agent, of course, came out and said, yeah, he's good. He's going to go in the first round and all that stuff.
That's what you expect from Drew.
And you know what? He very well might. And Isaiah made a great point. The the Cowboys have so much trust in their medical staff, their athletic training staff, that they have a pattern of this in the second round. I mean, Jalen Smith.
Yep.
You can go back to Sean Lee. We just talked about him.
Leighton
off the top.
Vander Esch with the neck.
Vander Esch.
That was a first-round pick.
Well, first round, but
premium picks.
Bruce Carter in the second round a few years ago. They are not afraid to find value and take a guy that should have been a first-round pick in the second round. Now, it depends on their evaluation of the medical and whether he would be there. But, I mean, look, if he's really highly rated on their board, just get your best value off no matter what you do in the first round.
And this draft is so crazy.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And in years past, and just knowing where guys are going to fall based off of their performance in college, the opt-out scene, the guys that are going to end up falling because they opted out, there are going to be some teams that are going to get some dogs that should have been in that top 50 that are going to fall out of, top 100. Just based off of evaluation, because you hadn't seen this guy in a year, and you're seeing that at the top of this draft right now with saying you're going to take 5 quarterbacks. These are like one-and-done guys. The only guy that has a resume is Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
The only guy that has a resume
5.
out of those 5 that you can say, oh, yeah, he's the guy that you've seen in those big game moments do it. Mac Jones, I mean, come on, dude. He was play for Alabama. Somewhere, guys are, just spinning, just saying, how is Mac Jones going to go to San Francisco? And I don't believe that's going to happen. But still, even with the guy from North Dakota, even with Justin Fields, I just don't feel like they've put it on tape.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And it comes to me, Pat Mahomes is the reason why. I think everybody looks around and says, if we don't have an elite quarterback, then we don't have a chance.
Is he the exception or the rule?
Oh, he's the exception.
He's the exception for sure.
But if you can't match what he's doing on the field, and even Tom Brady at this stage, he can still get it done. It's a quarterback's league. So, it just shows you how important that position is. The Cowboys think they have that guy, so they don't have to worry about it. But a lot of teams don't. Yeah,
I hope they're right. But you mentioned the opt-outs, Heckma, and that's a great point because just like we don't know how the scouts are feeling on specific prospects, how I mentioned in the first segment, we also don't know how front offices are going to weigh the opt-outs because when it comes to Jamar Chase, Rashad Bateman, players like that at the wide receiver position, I mean, you want to go to offensive tackle, Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Quinn Miners out of Wisconsin Whitewater at the guard spot. I mean, there's so many of these guys that were opt-outs. Micah Parsons, one of those. How are we going to weigh that as a front office and across the league? Because some are going to weigh it higher than others, but you could see Penei Sewell fall because he was an opt-out. You could see Rashawn Slater fall because he's an opt-out. Micah Parsons, indeed. If he played last year, I'm sure he'd probably be still in a conversation, at least with the top 10 pick. But there, like Heckma said, there are going to be opt-outs that fall further than others, just based off of the fact that the value is kind of an intriguing one for these front offices.
I think those are more like second round guys and below, I would say, that are probably going to fall. I don't see any first round guys really falling simply because of that. I think the scouts pretty much, they know who those guys are.
That's a good point.
Right? And you start looking at some of the talent that's one step maybe beneath them. That's when you start saying, oh, well, if they would have played, maybe they would have been higher, right? Or, we don't really know because we don't have any film. But those when you start talking about top 20 picks, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to have any effect over those guys.
Yeah, I mean, how do you hold it against somebody for opting out over the situation that we had a few months ago? I mean, to me, that's not a character issue. You just, I don't want to play this year. We didn't know what the hell was going on with the virus back in July, August, and guys made a decision to protect their safety. So I don't blame anybody for doing that.
Yeah, to me, it's just the evaluation process has changed this year from the Senior Bowl to Indianapolis, and guys running their pro day. Everybody ran a 4.4, 4.3. You didn't have that guy from the Steelers in the AccuTrack telling come back. They were giving out some pretty good numbers on everybody. I just feel like in those later rounds, teams are going to miss because they hadn't had a fair evaluation of guys, or they're going to pass on a guy that had he played or not opted out, he would have been on everybody's list.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to, and of course, Caleb Farley is one of those opt-outs. And Michael Anderson was the one who asked the question on the Mailbag Monday, by the way. I forgot to throw his name out there. But so yes or no, would you double dip?
If the medical, they feel good about it, and it is a back, like Isaiah said, which, was this somebody with a back issue that doesn't get better over time in a lot of instances?
Longevity.
But he's young. He's 22. Then, I feel good about it. I think, look, he has had other injuries. He's had an ACL tear. He's had back issues. So, it comes down to how comfortable they are. They've done it in the past. It wouldn't shock me if they did it again. It also wouldn't shock me if he goes late first round because he is such a talented prospect.
Isaiah, yes or no?
I don't like backs.
No,
I don't like backs. I mean, backs only take one bad little move to tweak.
Especially in a position where you move so much.
Yeah, you wrote so many transverse, rotational movements. I don't like backs. So I hate that.
Transverse rotational movement.
You sound like a trainer.
He is. No, man, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Not double dipping.
So,
because you're also assuming they take a corner first round, you're addressing one position with your top 2 picks, and you can instead of addressing something else like interior defensive line, like linebacker, like something.
Okay, well that leads me into my next question: is what would be the first position that you think would be double dipped on if you were in the spot of the Cowboys, not based off of what the Cowboys will do. But do you think there's a specific spot that you would double dip on more so than others whenever this draft comes around?
Well, those 2, depending on what your board tells you.
So corner and linebacker?
Well, linebacker, defensive tackle, DN. I know Carlos Basham's been mocked a lot to the Cowboys at 44.
He went in our first round
Did
today.
he? Yeah. I mean, offensive tackle, too. This is a pretty deep tackle class. Even, we talked about the top guys, in the top 15 or so, but there's guys, a lot of tackles with first, second round grades that you see. So I would any of those positions really.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm double dipping at corner. I think that you can find some defensive linemen and some linebackers that are still free agents right now.
You are so hard to read, man. I just don't. What is going on?
Well, I'm saying. Well, you guys are asking a question about double dipping.
So you're saying elite talent. You would pick a linebacker or a D tackle.
Absolutely.
But with the depth that you need at the corner spot, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
If say for instance, like I said, if you have the opportunity to go grab that linebacker Parsons, grab him.
Yeah.
Right? But if you choose not to, then get Surtain or whoever else you want in that position, and then get another one somewhere else.
Might as well just keep building on it.
You might as well build on it, right? Because you're already there. You've already committed there. So you might as well go ahead and solidify that so you can say, hey, I'm done with that. What I don't like, and again, maybe that's why I'm not a GM, but what I don't like is having one guy over there, I'd rather say, okay, this position is good, right? I'd rather just put that aside. We're good. We don't have to look at that no more. Now let's address this, right? I like to be able to put my eyes on one particular thing, and I get that you can start helping at certain areas, but I'd much rather, if you're going to say, we take a corner with number 10, if that happens, you have to grab another corner. And now you can put that away. Now you can say, okay, I have my corners situated. I have my safeties somewhat situated. Maybe I get another young safety. Okay, now I can focus my attention on my front 7. And you can focus all your attention on that instead of trying to put, let me take that one right there. Let me take that one right there. Because you're still going to have gaps. I'd rather have gaps in one position than have multiple, little seeping gaps in multiple positions.
See, but I feel like this explanation just proves the point to draft a corner at 10. I mean, everything you could clip everything you just said, and it would be the perfect reason on
He's
why.
going to clip what you just said.
Why Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn just be the pick
if we don't take our offseason acquisitions into consideration. The reason why I say grab a linebacker at 10 and grab Parsons at 10, not just a linebacker, grab Parsons at 10, is because with the other offseason moves that we've already made, you can make a good case for that's a solid front 7.
Right.
With Neal,
with guys coming off an injury, right, and some of the young guys with Tristan Hill, with Gallimore, and all those guys that got their young reps already. We have competitive guys that we know on the ends. We got D-Law, we got Gregory, we got some guys that have some go juice. I feel good about that front 7.
You're not alone on this staff. Heck, you kind of feel that way. Nick Eatman feels that way. Mickey Spagnola feels that way. I'm leaning towards corner, but you can talk me into any defensive position. If they tell me this guy is our best, he's going to make an impact right away, I'm okay with that. But I said that last week. Like, you draft a corner, you have to pay huge second contract to a corner. If you hit on a corner in the first round,
you're going to
5-year deal, and then you have that under contract if it's a Pro Bowl type player. I'm thinking more long term that way.
Your window's 5 years right now.
But there's no corner. There's no corner. I mean, name a corner in this league that could shut down a number 1 receiver in this league.
Not one.
Ramsey's
not even shutting down the number 1 receiver. I mean, I'm saying, like, you put a Julio on Ramsey, Julio's going to win.
He doesn't eliminate one side of the field.
Yeah, he doesn't shut down one side of the field. So that's where I started talking about if you don't have somebody that could shut down one side of the field, then you're really just kind of putting a guy there that can make plays every so often.
The closest thing to having a guy that could shut down a third of the field would be Byron Jones, and you had that here, and you didn't value it. And now I feel like you're
so.
How
do you feel like you're going to value that now with Patrick Surtain?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I think you would have to pay the price at that you let Byron Jones walk. Which if you right now on this team, this very situation, would you rather have Byron Jones or Amari Cooper?
I'd rather have in a passing league. I'm going to say Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
with the players you have around.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. You can out scheme a defense. You just can. You can out scheme a defense. If you have a great offensive coordinator and you say, "Hey, this guy Heckman's a heck of a corner." Guess what? I'm motioning across the field now. Heckman can't guard me now, right? So most teams have at least a two-headed monster receiver. At least a two-headed monster. Yeah. I don't think there's one team in this league that doesn't have a two-headed monster in the league.
You would still have that with Gallup and Lamb.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's no defense that you're going to face that you're saying, oh, man, we can't throw the ball. There's not one. There's not one defense in this league where you can't say, I can't throw the ball. Now, there are defenses in this league where you say, we might not have that much time to throw the ball. Or we got to get the ball out quicker. Or guess what? Our offensive line can't really hold up against these guys. There's there's teams like that. Yeah. But there's no teams where you don't feel like you can't throw the ball. So with that said, a cornerback is not dominant enough of a player in this league, right, to go out there and grab him at number 10. That's just for me.
And Byron Jones wasn't that dominant of a cornerback for you to say.
He was an athlete. He was a heck of an athlete.
And I'll go with that. Yeah. But I'm just saying, based off of our experience with cornerbacks.
He was a top 10 corner in the league.
But there's other guys I can throw to.
I'm not saying he's not Hall of Fame caliber. There's other guys I can throw, and that's the same reason why I made the case for the 49ers picking up Pitts, because it's like you pick your poison. Right. Yeah.
If you want to stick him, cool, I'm going over here. You can't stop me. Right, so if you can't stop me at that receiver position, I won't say you wasted a pick, but your guy can't affect my ability to move the ball.
It shows you it's a team game, and so the perception of a shutdown corner depends on who you're playing, who's playing in front of you. I mean, if Ramsey, he plays on a good defense in LA. If he plays in Washington, shut down corner because the guys around, it makes his job so much easier.
But Aaron Donald. What he does for Jalen Ramsey
is everything.
Exactly.
Everything.
Exactly.
So who did he have in Jacksonville whenever he was being really
Calais Campbell?
Shoot. And what's his name? I can't remember.
Mac Gakwe?
Saxonville. They had guys.
Yeah, I guess Saxonville was the thing. Wasn't it?
Come throw something else out, Kyle. We got something else for you.
The front seven, aside from a quarterback, the front seven is the most dominant grouping on the field.
And we do not have that.
No, you almost
not in Dallas.
Almost. You can.
That's That's another thing.
Can.
I love that you just brought that up. What makes you think one player is going to change this?
It's not going to be one player.
It's not just one player. One player at any spot doesn't just like Isaiah said. I don't think we're set. I don't know if this draft or this offseason can totally do that. It might take 2 years to do it, but you can start. And that's just by taking the best guys you think can help you. Mm-hmm. You can debate on which positions help you more. And I do lean to you guys with the front seven, but the value seems to be with the cornerback position in the top 10. And maybe that's the way
if you had a dominant edge rusher, and if you had somebody that I was not worried about off the field coming into this draft, I would throw him into that need.
Parsons.
Yeah. But if you're telling me ranking on my board, Parsons is not as high as J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain.
Okay.
And that's just kind of how I feel.
Maybe I'm just different. I'm not grabbing an edge rusher at top 10. I'm just not. I can scheme him. I can scheme him.
That's what you would do with Parsons, though, is he would run downhill for you.
No. But imagine if you had those three guys at that level. You have those three guys at that level. Who are you going at? You can't scheme linebackers. You can scheme defensive ends. You can scheme corners. You can't scheme linebackers because they're free floating. As long as you put guys in front of them that don't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level, you can't stop a linebacker.
That was the problem last year.
Yeah, that's
on the second level so fast.
You think about a guy like Ray Lewis that was a titan, that's just a giant on the field.
Who's in front of him?
Oh my God, Haloti Nada.
Haloti Nada.
He had everything.
Tony Siragusa. He had dudes in front of Sam Adams.
But think about the years when he didn't have those guys.
They was all up on him.
All up on him. I mean, that's the difference in what we're talking about with building a team and getting better at that level. But I just look at guys that are playing right now, like Zadarius Smith from Green Bay. This is a guy that they move all over the field. So if you want to scheme up for him in one position, he can just stand up linebacker. He can go down to the 3, the 5. He can do it all. And you have players like this in the draft that are playmakers.
You get them.
You got to have them. Yeah. You don't pass on that and put Patrick Surtain on one side of the field.
I'm
still okay with it.
I'm thinking about some of our opponents this year. There's not when we play Kansas City. I promise you.
Track meet.
Straight track meet. Sure. How do you stop that? You get home.
That's how Tampa beat them.
It's
the only way you can beat them.
You get home.
What you got, Kyle?
You face a team like that, right? Racetrack. Yeah. How do you beat them? You get home. What if they have an amazing running game? How do you beat them?
Right.
Shut them down.
Stuff.
And what's the common denominator with both of those sequences?
Up front.
Thank you very much.
You could argue that the reason that Tampa Bay got to Kansas City, though, in the first place was because both of their tackles were out. And we know, just like that in Dallas.
Sure. Yes, very much.
Just like that in Dallas. But guess what? Both of those starting tackles are
that was
key.
Still going to be a problem, though. That was still going to be a problem for them. That was going to be an issue. So name one defense in this league where you're like, I don't think we can throw the ball against them.
Boom. Crickets. But yeah.
But you gotta feel good about.
You gotta have competitive guys.
Yeah.
You gotta have competitive guys. That's what you have to have. There's not we don't have bums in this league at cornerback position.
No.
But what you're asking your guys to do, just like Quinn did in Seattle, come up here. I need you to be competitive. If Heckman's lining up against you, I need you to come up here, put your hands in his doggone chest, and make it hard for him to get off the ball.
Right.
And guess what? You do that long enough, you stop him for half a second. That's what we need because our guys are going to get home. We're more dominant up front.
I understand what you're saying, and I get the persuasion that is happening here. But isn't that just like the fundamentals of football? If you get to the quarterback,
it's not just a fundamental.
It's going to be
conventional wisdom.
It's just going to be there.
It's proven. The test of time has shown you that's how you get it done.
If you're telling me right now that if you're going to spend a pick on an edge rusher or a defensive tackle in the first round and try and get somebody there, and I'm talking about Micah Parsons as an edge rusher there, if you're talking about that's going to make your front seven that much better over Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, Tristan Hill, Neville Gallimore. Those are 4 guys I feel pretty good about.
Yeah.
I feel decent about those 4 guys.
I bet you adding somebody behind them that could
I don't think that would make that big of a difference, though.
Oh, my.
I really don't.
Wow. 6'4", 245, 4'3"?
Okay, you can get that guy off the street. You're a big guy, too.
No, you cannot get that off the street, Kyle. Not that.
Kyle,
off the field, does he love football? There's a lot of things
here.
Hell
yeah, he loves
football. Is he even good at
his
job? Have you watched a lot of his tape and coverage? He can't cover. Cannot cover well.
No, I don't. I don't believe that is something that you could just. That's a staple for Micah Parsons.
It's not a staple. He can run downhill. You're just getting a healthy version of Jalen Smith. That's what you would draft with Micah Parsons. You're getting a healthy version of Jalen Smith.
I like that. But let's go back to last season. Lamar Jackson on the HOV lane, drag racing on us, had nothing to do with our cornerback play. It had everything to do with what we were doing.
Stopping the run because you had Dontari Poe up front, or I guess Poe was gone by that point.
He's not the only reason why.
But
I'm
you
saying,
weren't good there.
Okay.
You're still not good there.
It does come down to, though, if you don't draft a corner high, then are you comfortable with what they got?
No.
And maybe with a veteran addition in May. And can you roll with that?
I think you still grab yourself a corner or 2 in the draft. It just doesn't have to be a top 10.
Doesn't have to be 10 is what you're saying.
It doesn't have to be 10.
Right?
You grab 1 or 2 corners. Say you grab 1 corner and then Quinn picks up the phone and says, Sherman, get your butt here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because otherwise, if you wait, you're drafting Reggie Robinson type, and in the 4th round.
But I thought we loved Reggie Robinson.
I was.
Wow,
his old coach
driver right there.
I'm not giving up on Reggie Robinson.
I'm not either. But you can't count on.
I think they tried to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, but you can't count on a player in the 4th round to come in and start for you. Yeah. So. You got to do something after the draft if you're not addressing this.
No, I agree. Let's take our second break. When we come back, our final predictions and a little over-under whenever the NFL draft comes around. It's the final segment of Talkin' Cowboys when we return after this.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. When there's work to be done, a real workhorse can make all the difference. Like the Range Boss package. Our 5075E John Deere 75 horsepower tractor features a bell spear and loader and starts at $369 per month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay. No surprises. It works like a horse, so you don't have to.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now, let's get to work.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Whether you're listening to us on Talkin' Cowboys or music while you work out, with Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds, you'll experience audio at a whole new level. With Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds, the official earbuds of the Dallas Cowboys. Heckma Harrison, what does it sound like?
It sounds like a symphony in my head, Kyle.
He brought it today.
In the face.
Brought it in the face. Brought it today.
That happened.
That's going to do it here for us on Talkin' Cowboys. Oh, so good.
Finally.
That was good. Well done, my friend. Nice. Good job. He brought it. He absolutely
standing
brought
up, man. I'm standing up.
That's what it is.
He got the
energy.
Wakanda beads on. That's what it is. The Wakanda beads are on.
Yeah, that's what you know.
That's what it is.
Nice. I like those.
I like that.
All right. Final predictions for the 2021 NFL Draft. I feel like we have just done everything but throw hands in this studio.
It's going to happen.
It will at some point. But Micah Parsons is on one side, but what do you think the Cowboys will do? We talked about what we will do. What do you think the Cowboys will do? Rob, we'll start with you. First position to double dip on. What do you think will happen?
I predict they sit and pick at 10 and let all the offensive guys go and take the best guy defensively on their board. I'll go. I don't know their board, but I think Surtain.
Oh, well, I asked first position to double dip. I don't want to do 10 first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to do it in a minute.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm distracted by Sean Lee breaking news.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, Sean Lee. That's a good excuse.
First position to double dip.
First position to double dip.
How about linebacker? How about get you a linebacker? Are you talking about consecutive rounds or just?
No, just in general.
I think
2 picks.
I think maybe you take a linebacker in the first 3 rounds. You come back in the mid rounds for somebody that can help you play special teams and maybe compete to take Francis Bernard's job, Luke Gifford's job. I'll say linebacker.
Okay.
Corner.
It's going to be a corner first.
Corner.
Probably. It could be exactly what we saw last year. Second and fourth round. Yeah. It's a sweet spot for both.
Not to take yours because that's where I was going, but I'm going to go edge.
I always do that. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll go edge.
Okay. I can see that as well. This defense needs a ton of help. We've already established that. Yeah. Over, under 1.5 trades involving the Cowboys. So, do you think there will be trades involving the Cowboys or not? Heckma, what you got?
No.
Under?
Under.
Okay. So, 1 trade, no trade. Think about it. There's 10 picks.
Well, they got a lot of picks. So, over then because they will.
How many do you think they'll make?
Maybe 2.
2 trades? Okay.
I give it 1 and no draft for the future picks.
Okay.
I'd say at least 1. I'll go with 2. Try to package, bundle, move up. Kind of like they did with Biotish last year.
Yeah.
Find a guy you like in the mid-rounds that maybe dropped a little bit.
I would love for that to happen because there's a lot of mid-round talent here that you could go and get. But, yeah, you would have to take probably trading some of those later 10 picks to do so. And I think that would be something. So I'm going to say over. I'm going to be with you guys. I'm going to say there's at least 2 trades that involve the Cowboys this weekend. What skills positions do you think Dallas uses a pick on? Isaiah. This is great radio.
Yeah, I figure that.
That's a tough one, man.
Out of quarterback, running back, wide receiver, which one do you think? I'll even throw tight end in there.
Yeah, tight end skill. I don't see them getting another receiver. I think they might grab another running back. They might grab another running back just for some depth purposes and for the future. Just for the future.
2 years left on both Pollard and Zeke's deals.
Yep.
Okay.
You think?
You know what? And I'm going to say wide receiver because I'm Jalen Darden. I'm hoping that a guy like Jalen Darden for UNT gets a shot. Just saying. Special teams, I think he'll be able to contribute on special teams. That'll be the only place a wide receiver would be able to contribute. So,
See, there are a couple of those guys late in the draft. I mentioned Jalen Camp the other day in a mock draft that I did. Georgia Tech wide receiver. I like him a lot as a guy who you could bring in as a special teams ace. And I'm looking up, combine record, 27 reps on bench from a wide receiver. He had 30 reps on a bench. He played wide receiver. Played special teams with Georgia Tech for the last couple of years. Here's a couple looks at him.
Beam with the footage.
Yeah, Beam was on that quick. Damn. But yeah, he played wide receiver, played out of the slot a lot, and he can sure go and play that.
He's big.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Only bench pressed, or he had 30 reps on bench.
That's a lot.
As a wide receiver?
That's a lot.
That's unreal.
I could maybe see receiver later in the draft. Your fourth and fifth receivers are on 1-year deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown. You bring somebody in to compete, But to me, you just don't need a lot at your skill position. So it may just come down to, hey, if there's a guy sitting there at any running back, tight end, receiver,
226,
you feel like dropped, take him later on.
Isaiah, how many reps you get on bench?
I think I messed up on my bench, but I think I hit 23. I think Brady.
23?
I could have had at least 33.
Yeah, I messed up. I was really angry about that because that was the only test that I could really do.
Yeah,
because
you were hurt.
I was hurt.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna bench this thing. They're gonna say my name, and freaking G.I. Joe Brady Quinn got me about 1 rep.
Get out of town.
Yeah. Man, my grip was wrong. So they have a warm-up bench. They have a warm-up bench, right? And then you hit that, and then you go over to the regular bench. Well, the bars were different, right? So the bench press bar was a clean bar. So I went out and I put my fingers on a little line. You're hyped up. You're not thinking about anything. Put your finger there. Put your finger there. And I came down on my first rep, and my hands were way out here. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And at that point, you just got to go, right? And when you fatigue, there is no get me a 2 or 3, 4 more.
Yeah,
it's like
they'll pull you
that's
back.
it. So I had a couple more reps left in me, but that was all I had.
What could you do now, you think?
That's what I was going to ask.
Now? Yeah. I'm old and busted now.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
you're not.
You from Wakanda. You can do 30.
I could probably hit about 22.
I'm old and busted. I can only do one less. I can only do one less than what I did when I was actually a prospect.
I can do 22 for the wide grip.
If I put my Essilors on, I could probably hit 1 or 2 more.
Oh, God. Here we go again.
Yeah. See more, do more.
Right, see more, do more,
Goodness, that's terrible. We're gonna have to do this now. We've
Shameless
got bench
plug,
press.
dude.
I've got a Cowboys Fit membership. Let's get you up there.
Can I race you? I want to race you out.
You want to race me
on Tostitos Plaza?
Oh,
please.
I'll race
Please
you.
race him.
That'd be terrible.
No,
let me.
But you said if I said let's race Kyle, he'd be like, let's go. Come on, we can go right now.
That would be fun, man. I wish we would have thought of this earlier. Maybe non-COVID it'll be easier, but do like a Talkin Cowboys combine.
I'm with it.
That would be fun.
Let's do it.
Come on, P. You can't chicken out, P. You in it.
I physically can't do a damn thing anymore, so I'm put a headset on and commentate.
Rob will be the.
We got to do the cone drill.
We should have a combine across all of our podcasts.
Ooh. Pick one representative from each podcast.
Now we're getting really good.
No, let's do it.
Or just whoever wants to participate.
Whoever wants to do it, yeah.
I'd love to get Mickey Spagnola in a 40-yard dash.
I'm calling out Barry Church right now and Jesse Holly.
Okay, I call out Mickey Spagnola then. I'm calling out a 67-year-old man.
I would take on.
Way to go out of the limb. Mickey.
I'm back out of retirement. I can take Mickey.
That was easy.
Yeah,
that was good. I thought about calling out Derek or Shannon as the other host, but like both of them are in great shape, so I feel like I would still lose that. Okay,
that's funny.
Final couple minutes. Who's the pick at 10, Rob? Since you already kind of started your explanation, what is your pick? Who's your prediction at 10?
I mocked Surtain in my mocks weeks ago. I'll just stick with that. I think whoever they think is the best defensive guy at 10, I'm okay with. But I think Surtain's going to be a guy that plays 12 years in the league, maybe makes a couple Pro Bowls. I think he's going to be a really good player. So I think you said it last week, the floor. He's got a great floor. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a bust at 10. So I'll go with him.
Yeah, I don't like that they're going to pick Surtain in my eyes, but I think they're going to go. That's
going to where they're
going to go. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, here we go. Status quo.
Yeah.
I'm going Michael Parsons. I'm staying with my pick.
That's who they're going to pick. Or that's who
the Cowboys are going to pick?
That's who I want.
No, that's who I want too.
That's not what we're doing. We're doing what you think the Cowboys will do.
Yeah.
Michael Parsons. I can't say that. Come on, guys.
This is like Heckma picking Dallas to beat Philadelphia 2-0 on the Tostitos. Up there.
You went Tostitos.
This is just
fine.
Like that.
Patrick Surtain. You like that? Is that better?
I'm saying,
okay.
Do you really think that they would pick Parsons?
I really do. They know what they need.
Yeah.
You know, I think they can't ignore the conventional wisdoms of football. I think they know where they're weak.
They need everything, though.
I'm just saying.
They need everything.
I know they do, but why not get you a playmaker? Why a guy that can
Patrick
affect?
Surtain is just as much of a playmaker.
On the outside.
Almost heard a voice crack there.
There's a whole lot of field. 53 in the third. He's going to be out there on the third.
I would normally say Patrick Surtain, but over the last couple of days, and I've just like you, Rob, I've mocked Patrick Surtain to Dallas a lot, including on the blitz 3 days ago. But the more I'm hearing about how these teams are lining up in front of you, I'm not necessarily sure if Surtain's even going to be on the board. I'm scared the Broncos might pick him.
Panthers.
I'm scared the Panthers might pick him. There's a chance that the Lions might pick him.
Yeah.
I'm scared Patrick Surtain's not even going to be there. So I'm going to go with J.C. Horn. Sticking with the cornerback spot, a little bit more of a dog, has that extra mentality, and he's a little grabby at times, but his physicality is there. And I think J.C. Horn, and also this could be the trade down scenario. If they end up trading to 15, J.C. Horn could be the pick there too. So I'm going to go ahead and pick here with J.C. Horn. He could be at 10, he could be at 15. Who knows where he ends up going? But I'm growingly getting more concerned that Surtain's not going to be available.
Stephen Jones said on the Fan on Friday, there's been a lot of great debate internally about Horn and Surtain. I think obviously they like both, but it'd be interesting to see what happens. And you're right. Like, he could go. Horn might go at 8 or 9.
True.
Who knows?
Whoever knows what it is.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that do this for a living that are on top of the draft that really like Horn more than Surtain, which is fine.
Especially in a Quinn scheme.
Man.
Horn is a Quinn type guy.
He would be.
Yeah.
And I think the coaching staff is kind of rooting for Horn, and the scouting department might be looking more toward Patrick Surtain because it's a high ceiling with Horn versus a high floor with Surtain, and that's the pick you're going to end up having to make. Whatever happens this weekend, we will be back on Monday.
Talk about it, baby.
To talk about it here in studio. Oh, that's going to be fun. Goodness gracious. Gentlemen, it's been so much fun being in studio with you.
It has, man.
It's refreshing.
Dude, this feels real.
It's almost like opening day. Like, it just feels special. Maybe it's because it's draft week, but I think it's because you guys are in studio, and my heart is so full. I'm talking Cowboys.
Yes, it is.
And I've had it up to here with Micah Parsons. All right, with Chris Beam in the back for Rob Phillips, Isaiah Stanback, and Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Thanks for joining us on Talkin Cowboys, presented by Geico. We'll see you after the draft is over next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!